Greetings and salutations to the MiracleMAX fan club. That's right, I'm speaking to both of you. Do you happen to know what this is? It's a microwave. The other day, Mrs. Miracle was making a delicious meal when all of a sudden she cried out,
"Hon, I don't think the microwave is working."
So naturally I answered her cry. I grabbed a glass of water, stuck it into the microwave oven, pressed the 1 minute button, and sure enough, Mrs. Miracle was correct. It wasn't heating up. So what's causing this problem and how can we fix it? Let's get into it. Just proof of concept here, guys. I've got it going through my isolation transformer, of course, to make sure that I'm safe. Glass of water, as I mentioned. Shut the door. Where are we? 1 minute. Put him on and away he goes. It's all good, hey? Looks pretty good to me. 56. Just let it wind down for a minute and see what happens. And we're waiting. We may have to fast forward this bit, hey? Oops. Did you notice that? It cut out. I wonder why it cut out. There's a bit of a smell involved as well, and it wasn't me. Okay, so let's have a look. Let's just stop. Okay, so the display is working okay, isn't it? There's several things that we can figure out according to the information that we have in front of us. First of all, we have a display that's come up, so we know we've got power. We had power running through there before. That seemed okay too. These do suffer from several common faults, so we'll go through those as well. But firstly, we can establish that it has power, so it's not a power issue, and the display is still up and running, so we know that we've got power there. Just be aware, guys, that these have extremely high voltages. Notice it says danger high voltage. Even when this bad boy is turned off, we have main filter capacitors that will hold their voltage, so you need to be careful with those. I'm happy that the fuse is not blown. I know that for a fact because I can fire it up once again, straight away in fact. So it appears to be some sort of shutdown system. Keep in mind this is an inverter model. It's not the old linear transformer style. There are a few things that I'd like to point out to you that I've observed before I pulled it down. As I always say, it's super important to have a really good visual of all the wiring and components, etc. Let's have a look at that terminal there. Look at it, it's gone all brown. There's obviously been burnt in there. This is a common fault with the Panasonic microwave oven. It's one of the door switches. So that may be an issue, but I don't think it is, you know, because when this microwave finally shuts down, I can start it up immediately without even touching the door. So therefore I don't think it's the door switch. But guys, should we assume? No, we should not. We should test it. Another area of concern is the Magnetron. See the plastic around here? It's actually melted. So this poor old Magnetron has been fairly hot at some stage for some reason. So we'll need to check that out as well. Let's have a look at the door switch first. If we backprobe those terminals for the switches, as you can see, we have continuity there, don't we? Which indicates that the switch is working. If we open the door, you can see that it goes to OL, or open circuit, or outer limits, and we shut it again, and the switch is okay. So I'm not really concerned that that is the issue. What else could it be? It's really important to start with the basics first, okay? We know that the inverter is quite a complex beast. We don't want to get into that unless we really have to. The easiest thing to check is the Magnetron, because that's the end result. That's the guy that creates the microwaves that go into our cabin in here. So there's a few simple checks that we can do on this before we head back into the inverter and blame that. So let's do those checks. Within the Magnetron is a thing called a filament. There's a terminal here and a terminal here. It's as simple as making sure that we have continuity. And yes, we do. We have continuity. Therefore, the Magnetron must be okay, right? Well, there's one other test we need to do before we call it okay. So we've proven that the filament is okay, it's not broken. But is that filament creating an earth? Oh dear, boom boom. Look, that's got, what, 122, what's that, ohms? Seriously, that's not good. And on the other filament it should be the same, of course, yes. So how can I prove that that is a problem? This has got a short between the filament and the body, which is actually quite dangerous, isn't it? How does that compare to a working magnetron? So here's one I've prepared earlier. Well, actually it's one I scabbed out of a microwave that wasn't repairable, but the magnetron is okay. Remember, we can do the same test there. We can check our filament. We can see that that's okay, but let's check it against the body. Okay, we've got no continuity whatsoever, which is what it should be. We shouldn't have any continuity between this high, extremely high voltage and the body. And that's the problem with our magnetron. Now I can't use this one here because it's the wrong model, etc. The magnetrons, the numbers, etc. will indicate what wattage they're meant to be used for, the fitting screws and filament design and all sorts of things. So I can't use that one. But, drum roll please, I'm not sponsored by this company at all, but I was just impressed by the service as well as the delivery. I got this overnight. I think it cost me $12 for delivery. That was freight, not postage. And it was interstate, so I'm in New South Wales. This was South Australia. Had a good chat with the guy. He was able to give it to me straight away, and really cheap price as well. So as I said, I'm not sponsored by them or anything, but I just want to highlight that you can get good service from companies. Came in a nice box, all protected. Chuck that to one side, and we've got the model number, etc. on there, which is the correct one. I spent some time on the phone with the guy just to make sure that we had the correct one, and he researched it and got it to me the very next day. Very impressed. Oh, look at that, eh? Oh, I got that new magnetron smell about it. Ooh, nice. Let's chuck it in. Actually, these things aren't too bad to pull the magnetron out. Now, I have checked across these two terminals to make sure that there's no voltage. Otherwise, I wouldn't be hanging on to it, would I? But yeah, check before you do anything to make sure that you're safe to work on these things. Make sure there's no hidden voltage. One of the screws that needs to come out is this fella down here. Not a hard one to do. Just pop him out there. Now that I've got this screw out, this simply comes out like that. I don't have to undo all the wiring, etc. onto the light, which we know is blown, of course. So these screws here need to come out. So we just pop those fellas out. And then, of course, we need to go down through these little holes here to access the other screws. A bit hard to see because the camera's in the road. Have a look down here. There we go. Another thing that points to the magnetron as being at fault is this plastic cover. And you're going, what? Plastic cover? What's that got to do with the magnetron? Well, let's have a closer look at it. I've already pointed out to you. I'll just get this one, high voltage one, out the road. Look at this leg here, hey? Which has been melted pretty bad. This fella over here, which I've already pointed out to you. But suss out this one. Look at it. Okay, it's not meant to be round like that. It's meant to be flat straight across. So what's causing all this heat in the magnetron? Well, have a think about it. Ohm's law tells us that if we have too little resistance, we're going to have very, very high current. We know that these magnetron filaments are very, very small. They have a very low resistance, but there's going to be even lower resistance because it's going to earth. It's got a short to ground. So that's a real problem, isn't it? And of course that increases the heat, gets hotter and hotter and hotter, so much that it's melting this plastic cover. That's why we need another magnetron. I'm using a plastic spudger here because we have two big circular magnets that are used in the magnetron to help control electron distortion, which helps make the microwaves. But what I did notice is even the plates here, the cooling plates, are distorted. Now there must have been some serious heat through here, because if you have a look down here you can see that this is no longer level on its plate, and these plates are quite close to one another compared to over this side. They're further apart, and over the other side you can see the same pattern. So I'd say this was, you know, pretty damn hot, and it's created distortion even on the metal plates themselves. So she's cactus, mate. So the new shiny Magnetron is now in place. All we have to do is do our simple test again. Glass of water, 1 minute, and see what happens. Let's give it a whirl. So as you can see, this is the isolation transformer that I use. But the problem being is, as I was testing the microwave, it went for X amount of seconds and then phew, everything shut down. And I thought, oh man, haven't I fixed it? What have I done wrong? But then I thought to myself, hang on a sec, hang on, let's have a look. It ended up blowing the isolation transformer fuse. And I thought, oh man, like something's not right with this. The microwave's still playing up. Then I scratched my brain for a little bit further. Then I had a look at the specs. Check out, we've only got 2.2 amps that this isolation transformer will cope with. What does the microwave draw? But if we look on the microwave oven specification here, it's 5.1 amps. And the interesting thing was that my little glass of water was starting to get warm. So all I'm going to do is go into a normal power point that has a 10 amp circuit breaker. That's still protecting the system, of course, but hopefully that should make our microwave oven work. Yay! So in with our glass of water, shut it, where are we, 1 minute, go. Two, one, beep. So has it heated up the water? Let's have a look. Smoking. Oh, 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 hot, hot, hot. Kind of warm in these Reynolds. Whoa, man, that's seriously hot. Okie doke, guys, so that has fixed it. A non-magnificent magneto has finally seen its day, and we've got it up and running again. Awesome. Well, that's another repair completed. I'm hoping that this will put me back in Mrs. Miracle's good books. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video and got something out of it. If you did, don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below. Give it a like. Always feel free to comment down below. Until next time, this is MiracleMAX signing off. I'll catch you later.